Not being a big Disney fan and growing up without cable meant that I never got into the popular Disney shows of my youth. As a result, I always find it fascinating to see that Capcom has made so many Disney games throughout the NES and SNES era based on these titles. Having recently played through DuckTales, I was excited to give another of these Capcom Disney era platformers a try. This week, I gave Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers a go, and like DuckTales, it is a journey I missed out on back in the day. The Rescue Rangers have received a mission to help a young girl named Mandy get her kitten out of a tree. Gadget decides to check out the situation and area before the rest of the team moves in to proceed with the rescue. Unfortunately, the call winds up being a trap, and Gadget now finds herself a prisoner of Fat Cat in his casino. It is now up to Chip and Dale to rescue her and stop Fat Cat's scheme. The story of Rescue Rangers is presented to players through text-based cutscenes at the beginning of the game and after missions. Scenes are accompanied by a still pixel art image of the characters doing the talking. A few animated scenes also occur using the in-game sprites at various times. The presentation looks nice and conveys a good amount of detail to players of the levels coming up, and it is nice to have the whole story contained on the NES cartridge itself. Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers is a platformer that requires players to navigate through levels with multiple areas to reach an endpoint or defeat a boss to advance. Controls are straightforward and incredibly snappy, giving excellent precision for both movement and jumping. The unique aspect of Rescue Rangers platforming is its use of grabbing and throwing items to defeat enemies or find hidden items. Standing next to wooden blocks, balls, and other larger items like apples and pressing the B button will have you pick it up. I like how the larger items will cause your character to appear physically tired and make your jump shorter as a result. Several levels also feature blocks you will use to progress by placing them. Blocks can also be used as a shield to protect yourself from incoming enemies. You get 3 hits per life, so making use of your available blocks or jumps to avoid damage is essential. You can heal throughout levels by locating acorns to eat. Acorns can provide a single heart or a full heal depending on the type. You will also gain extra lives by collecting flower tiles or stars in each level. If you happen to fail, you get a few continues to keep your game alive. Rescue Rangers has no password system, so the final game over will mean you have to play through the whole game again to resume your progress. This isn't a long game, however, with my first attempt taking around an hour to complete and my second only 30 minutes. Part of this quicker completion is making use of Rescue Rangers' neat Mario 3-esque branching paths to skip a few levels I played through initially. In total, Rescue Rangers has 11 levels, but 3 can be skipped. Every level has a unique theme and location, from the opening city streets, a kitchen counter, and Fat Cat's casino. Each level has unique challenges to overcome, and different types of enemies can be found throughout the game. Having never watched the show, I'm not sure of the authenticity of the enemy pool, but they fit well into their environments. Most can be defeated with a single item, but there are a few bigger enemies that require multiple hits to bring down. Later enemies will also use projectiles against you, making them far bigger threats compared to the early game foes. Environmental hazards like disappearing pipes or metal ball launchers or axes also need to be disabled with items or timed jumps to provide more challenge. Bosses are easier than most games, with easily recognized patterns for evasion and attack. There are a few that will likely trip you up at first, such as the weird disassembling caterpillar thing, and both forms of Fat Cat. Though for that first Fat Cat fight, weird hitboxes are the true evil you need to overcome. But they provide a good break from the normal platforming of the rest of the game. The coolest aspect of Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, though, comes from its 2-player co-op play. Both players get to play at the same time, which wasn't common for platformer games I played from that era. It helps to have both players collect everything in a stage, and funny that you can pick up your partner like in later New Super Mario Bros. Games. You can also stun your partner if not careful, resulting in unintended damage from an enemy. 8-bit renditions of the Rescue Rangers theme greet you as you start up the game, and level stages sound nice. Some themes will repeat, but it never gets obnoxious. Sound effects are okay, but can be a bit grating at times when quickly repeated. Overall, it is a package I found enjoyable, and it does the platform justice. Visually, this is another great example of NES artwork at its finest. Levels are large with nice details littered throughout, and player and enemy sprites have good details and enough animations to not look awkward. Some sprite flicker can occur during heavier scenes, but it's mild overall. Best of all is that the game remains incredibly smooth throughout its runtime. My biggest complaint about my time with Rescue Rangers is its ridiculous hitboxes. You will often take damage from an enemy or obstacles that is well away from your character. This has led to a few frustrating deaths in both of my playthroughs. Once you know about it, you can compensate for it, but it's still annoying that it occurs in the first place. Rescue Rangers gets shorter the more times you play through it. With branching paths in the first part of the game, you can decide if you want a longer or shorter journey to reach the end. Collecting each flower tile and star is the true challenge, or trying to beat each stage without dying. Co-op play can also add on multiple playthroughs if you have friends or family around to play it with. Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers has seen one re-release since its original 1990 release as part of the Disney Afternoon Collection for PC, PS4, and Xbox One in 2017. This release added support for save states, rewind, and includes concept art to enjoy. Capcom's NES era of Disney titles is a great example of how to do licensed platformers right. They may not be the hardest games or the longest, but they let you play as familiar characters, if you grew up with them, with good levels, excellent graphics for the era, and snappy controls. Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers is no exception, with its biggest fault only coming from some questionable hitboxes. Co-op play is also a cool addition to make it more enjoyable with friends or family. If you are in the market for a fun game to play this weekend, check out Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. Thank you for making it to the end of this week's retro review of Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers for the NES. So just another Capcom Disney classic I didn't experience back when it originally released, and thanks to my backers, I now have done so. And again, it's an enjoyable, quick little experience, and co-op play is a ton of fun, so definitely get that if you have friends and family to play it with. It's also great to see that this one is still readily available on Steam, PS4, and Xbox, PS5 and PS4, I guess, with back compat, but it's still readily available and usually goes on sale quite often, so not a bad way to pick it up. But yeah, thanks again for letting me experience this one, backers. Really enjoyed it. But anyway, here at the end, just the usual favors to ask if you haven't already. Thumbs up, thumbs down, depending on how much you like this review, as well as hitting that sub button and notification bell so you can see when new videos go live on the channel, as there's always so much more coming your way. But if you'd like to help further support the channel and keep it going, and vote on these weekly reviews like this, be sure to hit that join button here on YouTube or the Patreon link in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. And any tier, you get a vote. And the support really means a lot to us. Thank you again, backers, for believing in what we do here and helping us keep it going. But until next time, my wonderful internet peeps, will stay awesome. We'll see you back next video.